talking about journeys, destinations, culture, adventure, gear, conservation, and all the things we haven't yet thought of. This episode is brought to you by Sunwear Solar Technology, a premium manufacturer of fixed and portable solar panels for overlanding vehicles and marine applications. Designed and manufactured in Germany, Sunwear panels are tested under the harshest environmental conditions to ensure rugged reliability for years to come. Trust Sunwear for your solar energy needs, no matter where your adventures take you. Check out their website at sunwear.solar. You'll find the link in the description below. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For regular listeners, Anton Poplett needs no introduction. Humanitarian, Land Rover file, conservationist, and lover of good food cooked over an open fire. One of the constants in our long friendship is a shared passion for the green oval and all its quirks. But at the end of the day, no matter what badge is on the bonnet, we all trust our vehicles to take us out and to bring us back again. Of course, that trust comes with conditions. These machines need care. Sometimes that means maintenance or repairs in the bush or even in a French supermarket car park. The right tools make all the difference, and that's our topic today. How are you, my friend?
I just finished my my ostrich dry horse.
That's taken you a couple of months.
I may or may not have bought more.
And was it good?
Oh, so good. So good.
The luxuries.
I've actually, a friend of mine just had I think he just cut up a gemsbok, I think.
A what?
A gemsbok.
What's that?
It's a Gems, gemsbok.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Means absolutely nothing to me. I'm being ignorant.
He hasn't invited me over yet. More than likely for a reason.
Yes, he wants it all for himself.
Probably. I'd do the same, so I can't argue.
You're going to throw it on the barbecue then? Is that the sort of thing you put on a barbie? Or what do you call it? A braai?
We don't barbecue, we braai, like real men. We don't make those mistakes.
Oh, all right. Hey, tell me about your football thingy. You're doing a project with taking footballs to people, aren't you?
Yeah, so footballs and netballs. Yeah, so we're going to work with about, I think, 10, 11, maybe 12 schools. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be 10 netballs and 10 footballs or soccer balls.
Per school? Per
school, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the schools, so all the schools have space. And it's up to them to obviously clear up some of the ground, but it won't be like a full-on, like all the space, that they will make a proper pitch. They just don't have the capacity for a number of reasons. Obviously, safety. Mm. So there's fencing so that animals can't come in, elephants and things like that. So they'll sort all of that out, and then we will, we'll go and get like cones with some flags for the footballs and just make like little goals there if they don't have, and then just do like a bit of a handover and spend time with the kids and just tell them, like respect your environment, respect the gifts that are given to you, like these footballs, respect your teachers because they're teaching you and that's a gift. Your environment, like your land, and then just kick a soccer ball and just watch them go completely into their happy place. It's amazing. It's amazing. Brilliant. I love it. It's
that all needs funding, doesn't it? So how do you get support for that?
Mike, to do podcasts like this and just share what it is, and hopefully someone will pick it up. So this isn't a big cost. It's about 5,000-6,000 euros. It's not a big one. Mm-hmm. Some of the others are sitting at like 20,000-25,000. That's a big one. But the projects are obviously also very different. So there's a lot more that goes behind those. Those are when we test eyes and when we do elephant fences and things like that. So the responsibility is a lot more than handing out some footballs, So yeah, it's very cool. I'm super excited. I'm hoping it does come through, and it's quite a. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited about it. I really am. I'm hoping it comes through. I'm hoping something happens.
So you're at the point right now where you actually haven't got the funding for it, but you're looking for the funding now. Does that does that cover the 10 schools and all your traveling costs and everything which is involved, or is that per school?
Yeah. So no, that's in total. So that's fuel. I mean, fuel alone is a big deal. Fuel alone is like €1,100 just for fuel.
Yeah.
The fuel in our regions is quite high. Border crossings, food, the cost for the photographer to come along so that we can share good quality content so that people can see like that their money is going to good use. All of those things add up quite quickly. And it's actually it's not like a major thing. I mean, there are companies, not companies, but there are people out there that need much more serious funding, where they need like 80, 90, 100,000 euros, which is very, very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
I can't wait, man. So that's in August. So that's in like 2.5, 3 months. I'm hoping to do another little project of working with the claws, the people that do the cattle herd. And I'm hoping that is that should come through. I should be there at the end 16 to 27 July. So yeah, that's great. That's also in the Okavango. That's sitting in the middle of nowhere where they herd cattle, and they protect the cattle from lions and elephants and things like that for the farmers, which is so important because cattle is what is it? Cattle is their life,
Sure.
So yeah, it's very cool.
So that's
cool.
that's your sort of human wildlife conflict project, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one side. I've just realized how important it is to diversify, but also that there's so many things out there that are so good. And these communities are just normal people that have taken on a bit of a herding job, and to try and give them a bit of a upscale. And part of what I'm doing is to go and sit with them and talk with them and tell them like there's good things that they can do if they don't want to be at claws, like, do you want to be a photographer? Do you want to do this? And what's nice actually as part of this, which is pretty cool, is that we're going to teach them a little bit of social media and content and things like that, which is nice, so that they can take their own content. They can take a video of them making millipap on the fire, and they can go and they can watch they can take a video of what it's like to get the cattle out of the boma, and if they're standing there and there's cattle here and then there's an elephant on this side, these people are brave, so they'll just hopefully take a video going like this, and the elephant's not so close that they're going to zoom out. Hopefully. Yeah, it's very cool.
I can understand the conflict between, let's say, a lion and cattle.
Yeah.
But is the same problem with elephants? Do elephants go around trampling on cattle?
So not necessarily trampling on cattle. It's more that they interfere with the grazing, or they make their way into where the boma is at night or during the day. That's part of the problem. So
the boma is your portable corral, isn't it?
Correct. So the boma is it's about 1.8 meters high, and it's a non-see-through, like a mesh or fabric that's breathable, and it's got steel spokes all the way around, and they do a complete circle. And then on one section, they've got like a door that would just close, or they close it up at night with the ropes and things like that. And that's the boma that they would stay at. Yeah.
Okay, so that's sort of the protective area for the cattle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the that's the safe place at night, because there's also the calves are also inside there. You know, and that everything needs to be protected. Everything needs the right attention. They give the cattle all the right attention, meaning that they would get the farmers, and the farmers would come in with them and inject them with whatever it is that they need, if they need help, or do branding and whatever. So the farmers are very involved hands-on. But the herders, the eco herders, are there just to be on a supporting role, so that the farmers can carry on doing their farming and not have to worry about the cattle and the farming. Yeah, it's a big win. Big win.
Good. So you're going there on the 17th?
Hopefully, yes. It looks like it's going to happen. I'm just waiting to find out if they're going to, if the funding's in. Yeah.
Perfect. So the car is all prepared, because it's only a few days away now, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm actually very happy with where my rig is. The electrics are working very well. The engine will go for a service before we leave, or a double check, I'm actually editing March's trip where I had the wheel bearing issue. So yeah, it was interesting going back into that scenario, because talking about tools, what tools do you carry? What do you need? Do you have the liquids and the oils and the greases? How much of it do you need to carry? And it just created, there was one tool that I really needed, but in the end of the day, thank goodness, I didn't actually need it. So very lucky.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we've now started a topic, tools, yes. So you've had plenty of experience of breaking down. I mean, you've actually left your Land Rover stranded next to half a lake, haven't you, in the past, because it broke down and you couldn't sort it on the spot.
Yes.
So I'm sure your experience has taught you a thing or two about what you really need to take.
Yeah, that was one of many. Not many. Let me be clear. That was one of a few times that I needed to give my vehicle a bit more attention. It is. Carrying, depending on the project now, depends on what tools I carry. I know that if I'm going to do elephant fences, I'm taking a full toolbox. But then it takes away real estate and it adds weight.
Yeah.
And I will always now carry cordless tools, a grinder, all cordless, a grinder, a impact driver, and a drill.
Okay.
I will always carry those.
So those tools, but are they more for putting up fences and doing repairs, or are you also taking them because you reckon you're going to have to cut stuff off the Land Rover and drill holes and do things like that? Exactly
that. Yeah, it's more. So I'll carry in relation to my vehicle, but if I know I'm going to need a few extra tools, then I will take the box. I prefer not to take the box because it's of its size. It's one of those. It's a red one that when you open it up, it folds into like 3 tiers.
Yeah.
And that's weight and noise and clunkiness and in the way, where I could use the space for something else. But, I've had times where when you have to do things manually, it can add on an hour. So the impact driver, for example, is that if I have to change tires, I'll use the impact driver to take the tire off, put it on again. But then I have a torque wrench, a proper torque wrench, with a Newton meters for my wheel nuts, and that's tucked away.
You see, there's one thing. I mean, you say you have a metal box. I mean, I've got one of those as well. It's blue, not red. And it sort of, you can pull it and it goes up and spreads its wings. That's good, I think, for organization, but it's a square box, pointy edges, weighs a hell of a lot. And as you say, it makes a lot of noise in the back of the car. So I leave that one at home. I have a canvas bag where I throw all my stuff in because it squashes down, which means there's no rattling.
So the difference with a canvas bag, I'm going to show you mine, so don't judge me. All right. Because mine's done about 140,000 kilometers, if not more.
Okay.
This bag.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's been through the walls, but these are just oils and things like that have seeped through, or I actually had these made specially for me, and I sell them online, and I did them specially for me because I looked at the ones that people were selling online and I just didn't find they were realistic. So I went down and I got this, and this carries more than what I need for my vehicle.
Okay, bad boy. So that just raises the question, why do you have a metal box if that thing's doing the job anyway?
So this is in my vehicle all the time. If I'm going for something specific, I'll take the other one. But in most cases, this is sufficient. It's got wire cutters. It's got spanners, but it's only got spanners in that are related to my vehicle. I don't carry for anyone else. So if I do need something else, I'll either have a tool that's got 2 or 3 uses. And that's what's key. But in here, I've also got spray cans. So I will carry my all-time favorite, which is the brake cleaner. And I will carry the Liquid Moly WD-40 in here. And then in my spares box, I've got all my other bits and pieces. So I've got my other silicone sprays and other oil filters, air filter, bearings, all of that type of thing. I'll carry in my spares box.
Yeah, there's like your consumables, right?
Oils, oil for the engine, brake fluids, all of that will go in a completely different box. So this is the one that I would use if I need anything. I would take this out. And this isn't, in fact, in here, I've got a full set of tools for my vehicle, but I've also, on the front of my Tuckler seat covers, there's like a little pouch. And in there, I've got a 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13 spanners inside there with a little screwdriver and a Leatherman inside there. And those are pretty much 90% of my vehicle.
Yeah.
The 10
those
and
are the
13
ones which rattle loose.
Yeah, so they don't go anywhere. But if I need something quickly, I don't really want to lug this thing out, because my axe and my hammer and all of that are all tucked in the same place. So, I've got to. It's just much easier to grab my spanner out of there instead of opening this out. So
simple repairs are on the back of the seats, and the more detailed stuff is in your roll there, in your pouch.
Correct. I mean, and in here, I'm actually going to put this in the washing machine. When my wife's not looking, because in fact, hopefully she doesn't even, she's not actually even listening to this, because I know what'll happen. And off the bat, never leave home without cable ties. Never.
Big cable ties, yeah.
Big cable ties.
I have them everywhere.
In fact, I've got them underneath my, in the wheel arch, underneath the mat where I drive, where the pedals are, underneath the mat. I must have about 30 underneath there with various sizes, small to big like the big thick ones, because sometimes you really need a wide, a good wide, I don't know what you call it, girth, or a good wide cable tie. Because you need to spread the load on it, because if it's too small, it can cut into the pipe. If the pipe is a little bit old, then you can break the pipe even more by it. Because cable ties they can be strong, but also if the pipe is old, and depending on the liquids that have gone through it, and this is what I've experienced, is that if it's diesel or oils or lubricants or coolants or something like that, it can get brittle. So yeah.
So have you got a 52 millimeter box wrench in there as well?
I don't.
So how do you do your bearings?
I didn't, because I needed a 42 mil or a 40 mil, and I didn't. So that was the challenge. In fact, I literally was just editing the video on that, and that's really what one of the problems was I don't carry one of those, and I'm going, will I need to? It's good to have. When you need it, you need it. And I also didn't carry bearing grease, but now I carry a little tub of bearing grease now. And the rest is purely going, how often will I need to check the bearing grease? And it turns out, for the first time ever in 10, 12 years, I've actually had to do that. 10 years. I've had to check the bearing grease. Yeah, I've never had that issue.
These things happen.
They do. I mean, even other little bits and pieces, just a good nut and bolt. And I think I've told you before, is I only use nylon washers now. So I'll have steel and nylon. I'll put the nylon on against the body and then the steel over it with the nut. Yeah. So that there's little or less rattling and not abrasion, but maybe abrasion from rubbing, because you don't want it to open up.
To get through the paint.
To break the paint off. That's exactly it, yes.
Yeah. Because that's the beauty of Land Rovers with aluminium panels. The minute you start bolting on bits of steel, they start corroding one another, don't they?
That's exactly it. So, you want to try and eliminate some of that. Also got a marker inside here. You want to keep a marker. The irony is that underneath the vehicle is black. So using a black marker is really not that smart. But yeah, and then when I was in Botswana Mound a few years ago, I bought these, which is wire cutters. So I can use, it's got multiple teeth on.
Yeah, that's for crimping.
Yeah. So you can use it for crimping, you can use it for stripping wires, and then also cutting wires, you know. And that's another thing that I carry is a round tube, what do you call it? A round tube of wire. Yeah.
All in one color, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And do you carry copper slip?
Yes.
I love copper slip. I love it.
Yeah. It's because if you're doing a repair anywhere and you haven't got it with you, you then say to yourself, oh, I'll remember to do that when I get back home. Then I'll, take the nuts and bolts out and then put the copper slip on there, which you never do. And of course, that part then in 2 years' time is a right pain.
It is a mission. The other thing that's really good in a kit is long spanners. I mean, not spanners, sorry, long screwdrivers and Phillips star. When you need to get into the turbo pipes, you need length, and it makes a nice difference. I actually need to go through this again.
I don't have the luxury of a turbo. I have a 2.25 litre petrol engine.
Beautiful. But you also got a lot of space in that engine. A lot. I've had one. They're beautiful, those 2.25 motors. I had a Series 2A, so
you can get inside to work on them.
Yeah, the time. You've got to take the time.
Yeah, but they're easy. That's the beauty. I mean, that's why I like them. And I am admittedly upgrading to the Range Rover, which has got the 3.5 litre V8 in it. But that's all naturally aspirated as well. So there's no crap in this. You've still got plenty of space under the bonnet to do stuff.
Yeah. That's good. Looking at the 2.25 and then looking at my 2.2 motor it's not only vastly different, but we don't realize in the newer motors how many more electronics are in there. There's a lot more sensors than what we think and that we know about. So. Yeah, it's quite I've had a sensor that goes into the engine block and couldn't find the problem at all. Engine would drive, it would be fine, and then it would just switch off. And you're like, but there's fuel, like the fuel line is working, and you go through all the processes. Turns out there's a sensor in the side block of the engine, and I don't know what the flip does this thing do. And I had to replace that.
Yeah, this is what you call the details. Electronics in modern engines are, I don't know, they worry me, because if a sensor like the one which you were speaking about goes, then if you haven't got one with you, you've got a real problem. And it's only a tiny little element of the whole
That's all
package.
It is. And no one carries a sensor light. I mean, if you look at what you need, like what really matters. Okay, so there's two main areas of what really matters. All I care about is water. If the water in the radiator is moving, or it's not there, where is it? It's either underneath the vehicle and sunk into the ground, or it's in the engine. So the one that's in the engine is the one you really got to worry about. If it's sunk into the ground, it's generally a pipe or something that's gone. So, it's, do we have the tools for that? Do we carry the parts for that? I mean, I've had, one of the projects, I've had a water pump, turbo, brake pump, alternator, and something else go in one project.
Oh, geez.
And that was beautiful. Yeah, geez.
And keeps you on your toes.
At that point, there isn't anything that you can do besides literally, like you said earlier, leave your vehicle on the side and go, I'll have to come back and fetch it. There isn't anything else that anyone can do. So you've just got to carry what you know that you can fix. And, when I was on the side of the road now in March, I could obviously take the wheel off, and I could get I couldn't get in to see if what the bearing was like, because I didn't have a size 40 or 42 spanner. And it's not, I'm pretty sure I could carry one, but how many times do we need to check it? That's the thing. And, it goes back to maintenance on your vehicle. I do as much as I can. I get underneath my vehicle, and I actually have a phobia against opening the bonnet in public, because every time the bonnet's open in public, everyone thinks there's something wrong with it. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm just doing proper checks, And I'd get under my vehicle and I check. And I take the tools that I need to and make sure that things are tight. I mean, I'm on a group with a Land Rover community in Southern Africa. It's quite a big community, and a lady's got flashing lights on her dash, And, I've had that before, and I just said, have you checked the earth? Check the earth, follow the cable that comes out the battery box through the bottom and see where it's attached and shake it and see if there's even a 2 mils of movement. Because I've had that, freaked out, and it just turns out that the guy that put everything back didn't tighten the earth. And when you put the ignition on, the lights just start going flipping mental. So yeah, there's people freak out. They completely freak out. They're like, oh, everything's going to a ball of shit, and you're like, no, it's okay, just chill, and you'll see. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you actually carry a socket set with you then, or are you just carrying the spanners?
So this is the tool roll, but in where my cordless stuff goes, my cordless drills and impact driver and that, in there I've got just the sockets that I need and drill bits. So very seldom would I carry, like I said, extra. If I have the big toolbox, then I've got the full length of spanners, obviously, and whatever. But 95% of that I don't need. It's just in case. I mean, we've come across a poor guy, flip man. We really felt for him, where he was in a pickup, or what we call a bakkie, and on a road to nowhere, on a road to Saronga. No, it wasn't Saronga. He was out of Saronga. A road to Gudigwa, and the road ends at Gudigwa. After that is called the Cylinder Slipway, which is private concession, so you can't go there. You need permission to go there. And if you go when it's dry, it's like driving on dunes for 10 hours. If you go when it's wet, you swim. And I've done it in both. And there is nothing. There's no signal. There's no nothing. Now you can put Starlink up there because it's approved in Botswana. But other than that, zero, or a sat phone. And if you need some of these tools, then you need them. I mean, I don't carry normal sockets anymore. I carry the long one. Because in most cases you really need a long one. And in fact, I bought now, so I've got a bit of a dilemma coming up, Mike. I don't know what I'm going to have to sit and focus what I want to do, because I've gone and bought a cordless impact range driver. Okay.
What's the problem?
Beautiful. But the problem is I need to decide. So if I buy a tool, one's got to go. And that is a bit more of a luxury, to be honest, and I probably won't take it. But I bought another tool. I don't know if you've seen them. It's like a long pipe, but it's got socket on the end with a chain inside. So if you turn this bit, then that turns. So you can plug this in onto the
nut or bolt.
Onto the nut or bolt, and then you can put your drill or turn it, with your wrench on this side. And those play, those actually are tools that you need to consider seriously taking, because I'm not a full mechanic, and I have full respect for mechanics. When you've got to get your fingers in a hot engine right in a corner, in somewhere, you're going to burn yourself. You're going to do something. And I don't know if anyone in a Defender, a proper Defender, not this new Disco 6, but anyone in a proper Defender, that has tried to change a turbo pipe when the engine's hot, good luck with that. It will not, you will swear, and then you'll just say, you know what, I'm done until it cools down. And then you sit down, you have a beer or a cup of tea, and you wait. And you just wait for the engine to cool down.
But that's the better solution, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. Except it's 9 a.m. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't make a difference. I'll probably still have a beer at 9 a.m.
Talking about difficult spaces in engine bays, and if you're working with, it doesn't matter if it's a ratcheting ring wrench or a normal ratchet. If you've got, 72 teeth, you've got 5 degrees of movement for the click.
Yes.
But if you haven't got that 5 degrees of movement, then you're really screwed.
Correct.
So one thing, and this goes back to my time of being in Asia, amongst others in Taiwan, doing tools, designing tools and stuff like that. There's a ratchet handle, which you can use it in the normal way, like your 5 degrees. But if you haven't got the 5 degrees, you can turn the handle.
Okay.
So you can spin the handle without actually moving the wrench, and it will also undo or do up the nut. Now, they are really good. And the even better version of that has a hexagon drive on the back of it, so you can stick a cordless in there as well.
Sounds
They
romantic.
are really, really clever.
Can you send me the link? I'd love to have a look at that.
I will do. I'll actually put, what I'll do is, because I've got various sizes, I've got, half inch, quarter inch. So I shall take some pictures and stick them in comments or something, if I can.
On the Africa version, we'd just have another beer to calm down so that we will find a solution. And in fact, you're talking about that because of time that we've spent sorting things out with our vehicles. Yeah. I actually just saw, and I remembered now. Oh, flip, I've been looking for that.
Allen key.
Yeah, but it's a special, I think it's number 6 or number 5. Number 5 mil, 6 mil. That, I don't know, 5 mil. This is the majority of what I need when it comes to roof racks and, not roof racks, load bars. I don't have a roof rack anymore. I don't want roof racks. I just saw the tool here. Jeepers, I need to go through this thing again.
You need to empty it.
I'm a bit scared to empty it. Oh, here. When you need to bend a tool, bend it. This is a number 10, I think. Yes. And keeping them straight sometimes is you need to bend them in order to make them, come on.
Mm.
You need to bend them in order to make them correct. We do sometimes just need that handle to be at an angle where your fingers just can't get in. And I will bend and cut a tool to do that. In fact, I've just ordered a tool now it's got the normal the normal round bits here, but on the inside, it's actually got a ratchet on the inside with an opening in the front.
Okay.
So you get the round ratchet as normal, but the problem with a round ratchet is that it's got because of the ratchet inside, it's got a much bigger head. And you can't always get your spanner in there because of the thickness. Correct. And you need the thinness, but then you can't. So this one now it's got an open end with a ratchet inside, so you can slide it in and then still ratchet it closed. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how strong it is. I'll know in a few weeks.
As soon as you get that, send me a couple of pictures or a video of it.
I will. I'm actually quite keen. But talking about it, Mike, I need to go through this toolbox. I mean, there's stuff in here that I haven't even looked at in ages, and I wouldn't even know. I think this is 24. I think this is for my wheel nuts. But
your wheel nuts, that's it.
You're a tool guy. You'll know that that's actually not good for wheel nut.
No, you want 6 flats.
You need the flat. Is it a hexagon? I think.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, but you actually need that, not this. This I have experienced.
Rounds things off if you're not careful.
Correct. But then also, it actually changes part of the shape so that when you do put the proper hexagon one on, it actually won't fit. I've experienced that too. I don't even know why I have this. I need to go through this toolbox. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can cut this toolbox down in half.
I had that problem, or I still have the same problem, that I'm really good at adding tools to my toolkit because it seems like a good idea at the time. And then, I mean, my canvas bag, it got so heavy the handles ripped off. So what I did then was to get myself some blue. But I got myself some blue insulation tape, and then I started wrapping a piece of blue tape around all the tools I was using.
That's cool.
So if I'm servicing the cars, then I can see exactly what I'm using and what I'm not.
Yes.
And that way my toolkit suddenly got lighter. Took some time.
That is smart. I mean, I know by going through this now, like I haven't used this, I haven't used that, I haven't used this. Will I need it in the future and where? Then I'll decide if I'll keep it or not. What you could do, Mike, and this happened to a good buddy of mine. His wife went in and started to clean up his tools. And I think they nearly got divorced because she was like, oh, you're not going to need this, you're going to need that, and you don't do that. And he went absolutely, he couldn't moan and shout at her because she was, trying to do something nice for him, but you could check him shaking and like hovering. I don't know, so if you want to clear it up properly, then just leave it with your wife and let her deal with it. But that's a good idea, though. It would be great to have some form of some sort of system where you can tick. I used a 13 today. I used it the other day. I used a 10 today. I haven't used an 8 in ages. Where am I going to need a size 8 spanner, And I keep a size 13. I went and I bought 4 size 13s with the ratchet on one side and then the normal open one on the other. Because you obviously can't tighten too tight with the ratchet, you'll break it. So you get to the point where it's just tight and then you use the normal side. And I 13s are the most common. And I just I engraved my name on it. So if anyone decided to use it, I can walk around and go, no, dude, you're talking cuck, that's mine. Because, 13s are not cheap. I mean, and buying proper tools like you and I, we're not going to just mess around for the cheapest version. We're going to go, hang on, if I'm going to use a tool, I want to use a proper one, Yeah. So, yeah, these are the things. I mean, and this is why I'm really excited. I've been talking to with tools in South Africa, and I'm hoping that we can come to some form of agreement and make it work. Yeah, it's going to be, just carrying the right, good, proper tool is so key. On the cordless tools, I can use the impact driver as the drill. It's got the power, just obviously not the full speed. But as long as I can put the drill bits inside, I'm okay. Inside the fitting of the impact wrench or impact driver, I'm fine. That's okay. And then with experience, we go from the smaller size, the 1/4 inch to the 1/2 inch to the full inch fitting, depending on the impact that you're going to need. And that was why I went and bought the torque wrench and with the torque wrench with extensions.
Because, a torque wrench is compulsory piece of kit. You don't want to be doing stuff up in engine bays or even your wheel nuts without a torque wrench. You want to get it right. Correct.
I mean, I would have my tires rotated before and after every project, because by the time I would have it done today, but then by the time I'm back, I've hit 7,000 kilometers and I rotate my tires. And I just learned. I watched the guy tighten my wheel nuts. And then a week later, I'm like, you know what? My torque wrench is right here. Let me just go and have a squiz and take it out, because it's quick. You'll use the tool if it's right there close to you, And I went and clicked, and there was about 4 of them where I was turning like, whoa, what's happening here? Click. Okay. So obviously over a little bit of vibration had come a bit loose, and it's kind of normal after a rotation, but you want to be a little bit, you want to just be thorough. It's your vehicle, your whole vehicle is on 4 tires that is on 4 pieces of rubber that big on the ground. Yep. That's all it is. One of those goes wrong, you're in trouble, So as spare parts go, do you carry 2 tires or 1 tire, And that's a whole nother, I don't even think it's a whole nother discussion. I just think I won't carry 2. I'll carry 1 good spare. But I also have good tires. I have good tires that have treated me well. I've abused these tires and they still love me. We still cuddle and we hold each other and, we caress when I walk past and, that type of silly stuff.
Sometimes you're weird, but that doesn't matter. Let me tell you a story about tires and wheels and wheel nuts.
Do it.
This is going back a couple of years. I was going to go down to Spain with the Land Rover. So I thought, put some new tires on before we go. Took it to a reputable company.
Yes.
And I didn't watch, which was my downfall. Yeah. Because I said a moment ago that a torque wrench is really important also for wheel nuts, because you don't want to over tighten them. And they'd obviously used a ratchet gun, not only to take the wheels off, but also to put them back on again. Because when I picked the car up, everything was hunky-dory, came home, filled it up with kit. Everybody got in and we started off towards Spain. And all of a sudden, the brakes got, I won't say it noisy, because it was so penetrating, the squeals. And I thought, okay, so our brake's gone locked up or something. Hadn't. It was still free. What had happened was when they did the nuts up, they did it up with the ratchet gun.
Yes.
And they pulled the studs out. And then, so they were completely loose. I could take it, I could pull it out with my fingers. But the other thing was that all the threads had, or at least one of the threads had completely stripped. and all the swarf had fallen in the brake drum. So I now had a car which I couldn't drive because it was just penetratingly loud.
Yes.
So I had to have it towed back home from Belgium. And when I took it all apart, the brake drum was no longer serviceable. The brakes were no longer serviceable. The whole lot had to come out. And of course, the wheel hub was no longer serviceable. And that was the problem of doing stuff up too tight.
Did they take ownership of their lack of service?
Eventually they did, yes. But it was still a pain. You think you're all set and ready to go and everything's been done. Yeah. And this was the first. Normally I take my wheels in. I don't even take the car because I've got loads of wheels here. I can always put new tyres on and swap them over myself. Yes. But this time I was being lazy. And that was my downfall.
And it caught up with you. Yeah, I'm very thorough. I won't work in a garage unless they allow me in to help. I won't work in it. I have trust issues, and I have trust. I mean, listen, I'm not OCD or whatever, but I'm the guy driving out into the middle of nowhere. And if something goes wrong, I need to know what's happened and what to do and what was done. I've had guys, Mike, where they've stripped the wheel nuts and didn't put them on properly. Because unless you put it on perfectly, it's right. So what they did is they put it on at a slight angle and they just kept tightening. And I had one guy do it 3 wheel nuts on one tire. And I mean, I wasn't angry, but I let him know that, this is.
But that's really bad because that's not just the nut which is screwed. That's the stud as well. So
everything.
All that has to come out.
Yeah, but this is because of people not knowing how to use a torque wrench and not just be careful. Changing a tire. I mean, I'm a professional driver trainer, and just changing a tire, people don't. They don't want to get dirty, for example. So they don't want to sit on the ground. They don't want to put the tire on their lap. So what do? They lift the tire with a tool. And they pop it onto the wheel nuts, but they don't pop it on properly because they're now grinding it over. So what are they doing? They're eating into some of the thread, and they're grinding some of in most cases, it's aluminium rims, and those little shavings get caught in the thread, and then they try and tighten it. And what does it do? You're just asking for trouble. So now you need a tool to fix something else, and it's just you just got to be careful. And this is why your tool selection is key. If anyone listening to this, if you are new at this and you want to learn, go to people on forums or people that you know, or your local mechanic that you trust. You got to trust the people. You got to go and you say, right, I'm driving a Troopy, or I'm driving a Land Cruiser 200 or a proper Defender like mine, and I'm driving, Isuzu or whatever, a man truck. You guys got some awesome, those big ass flipping man trucks that they do there. Give me the top 5 things that can go wrong in the engine and underneath, and tell me the tools that I'll need in order to do that, and start there. You know how many people actually know how to change a tire? It's embarrassing how many people actually know how to change a tire. But properly, properly without having to grind anything or scrape everything over. And tools are there to help you, but you've got to give it a chance and you've got to practice it. It's like everything. You've got to practice what you're doing. And if you carry the right tools, you'll be smart at what you're doing. And part of what you said, mark your tool, yes. But also I've had people write on their tools the different things that they can do with the tools. So if they had I'm going to say something silly, a size 13 spanner, they can put a label on there on the side, and they can say, right, so size 13 spanner, I'm saying something silly here, like wheel nuts and tighten the chassis. And it's also the size for this. And that's when you start learning. And when you know your tools, again, everything becomes a lot easier and a lot simpler. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. But, getting into overlanding and the camping side and the bush and wild camping and whatever, it's a hobby that we all love. And you want to learn these things. You want to get these things under your belt, and it's fun. I mean, I say it's fun, but I mean, it's when it's not raining and the ground's not wet and you have the time and you're sober, you want to be able to just just go under your vehicle and look. You'll start seeing, yeah, hang on, that doesn't look right. The last time I looked at it, it shouldn't be looking like that, and you start and you just ask some questions. It's just such a, you really, not you, but collectively, people need to take note. I was never a mechanic, never. I would get paranoid if I had to open the engine, open the bonnet. I'd look at it, I go like, yeah, okay, cool, that's done. And the guy goes, what are you talking about, done? Like the whole belt is off. I'm like, yeah, we'll just get a stocking and put it around there. It'll get us to the shop. He's like, who are you? What are you doing? Obviously, I'm joking, but he's, it's when you get into it, it can be, it's just another skill that you can learn, and that's cool.
Yeah, I think anybody who's going to go anywhere remote, you need to familiarize yourself with your vehicle. You've got to service it yourself before you go out, so at least what was done last. And toolkits are, no matter how well you put your toolkit together, there's always going to be that moment when the one tool you do need doesn't exist and it's not in there.
Yeah.
Which
like
is one of the reasons.
Spanner.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The wheel hub nut, I mean, it's 52 mil on a series.
Yeah.
But that's also one of the reasons why I hate using them. But I do carry an adjustable wrench because that will get you out of a spot in the off chance that something's missing.
True.
And the other thing, of course, is, when you're traveling, do check your vehicle every day. Look at the most important bits.
You have to.
Yeah.
Water. Have you checked your radiator?
Check
water is key. It doesn't take long. You can also check the brake fluid, or the clutch fluid. Those are little things. And they're simple and they're easy. And again, you start familiarizing. It's a perfect word you used. Familiarizing yourself with it. And many of the times you don't actually need a tool for it. You just need to open up a cap, and check. I will, every second day, I will open the bonnet. I'll have a bit of a squiz. I'll check underneath. Sometimes a pipe has been moved because we've gone over logs and sticks and whatever, and it's just been caught and it's kind of moved and it's just dripping something, And these are things. I mean, now I had to get my toolbox out on the last trip. We were wild camping on a cattle ranch, on a nomadic cattle ranch, southern Botswana. And in the morning, I'm bummed we didn't have the camera running, but obviously, when accidents happen, you're never prepared, obviously. So, I put the kettle on to boil. I wanted to make some more tea before we drove off, and I was going, and I went up to close the iCamper, pack it away, close the lid, pack away, and the whole story. And the drawer slider, because we were at a slight decline, the drawer slider slowly closed, and as it closed, it moved the pipe, the gas pipe, and the gas pipe went over the flame, and it burnt the flame. The flame burnt the pipe, and the next thing, I'm like, what's going on here? And Cam, the photographer, shoots around the corner, grabs this whole, the kettle, the burner, the gas bottle, and just tosses the whole thing out the vehicle. And I then went and turned it off while the flamethrower was going. I turned it off and, took a moment to say, okay, what do we need to do? Are you okay? Is everything fine? Is the vehicle not burning? No. And I had to get my tools out to say, right, we had to cut it. We had to cut the pipe. We had to now shorten it, take out the sections. And you can't do that if you don't know what tools you have, and certain tools need a sharp, thin blade. You can't. I'm not going to take my axe to cut a pipe, and it's just, you'll be very surprised where you need these things. That actually reminds me, I need to find a place for that flipping 1.2 liter bottle.
There's one of the other items which belongs also in every toolkit, and that's a multimeter, just to be able to test your electronics.
So true. So I didn't bring it, actually. I didn't think of that. I've got one of my daughter's old pencil bags,
Mm-hmm.
And in there now, I carry a multimeter. I carry a multimeter for stupid people. And what that means is that I just check voltage. I don't need to check if it's between 200 and 250 or 50 and 160. I care what it is. So I bought one that is simple and that I just put it onto voltage or onto amperage or whatever it is, and I just check it. And that plays a huge role with little fuses in your toolbox or in your tool roll. Always carry fuses, always. Things go randomly. I get that thing off. Things go randomly. So a proper little set of wire nippers. If you have to trim a wire or you have to clean up a wire from corrosion, and little terminals. I don't carry a crimp because it's mostly the Anderson plugs that I use that would need a proper crimp. Anything else, I can just use the Leatherman or pliers out of here. And in here, I see I've got 3 different types of pliers. I've got the small ones, I've got the big square head ones, and I've got like a long, I realized I needed a long nose plier with a long handle to get into certain areas in the engine bay.
Yeah.
So, electrics we did a whole thing on electrics, and you're right. Having a proper multimeter it just tells you, is your alternator working? Is your battery getting amperage?
Yep.
What's the voltage that's going in? And you don't have to understand everything. You just got to know, okay, hang on, the batteries can handle for 14.2. Or in the Defender, I learned now in the 2.2, the average is it levels out at 14.5. And I was like, listen, dude, just flipping 14.5. That's like I'm worried it's going to burn down. Something's going to go wrong. It goes, no, that's normal. I said, don't tell me it's normal. I've never seen a battery or anything like that go above 14.2. But I was proven wrong. And he was like, no, this is right. I'm like, all right, I'll shut up now.
Times are changing. It's always something new. Yeah, but a multimeter, they're not even expensive.
No.
But it's something which you can use to test everything. And
they're not even that big either. They're not.
No.
They're not bulky, and they're light.
No. Yeah.
Have you used the ones, Mike, where you put the point and it's got a light or a buzzer? Have you used those before? So I think it shows if the circuit's open or closed. I think if it's a closed circuit, then and you put it on there, then the light goes on to say that obviously it's closed circuit. If the light doesn't go on, then there's a break in the line somewhere. Have you used those before?
You mean 2 pieces of wire with the bulb in the middle? Yes, I have that.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just literally use a bulb and 2 bits of wire.
Oh, really? Well, you're a lot smarter than I am. Jeez, I don't know.
It's not
That's
smart.
Good, eh?
It's just a simple solution. I tell you
I'm
what,
happy with
on that note, having a buzzer is better because you can almost guarantee it's like, I don't know, a brake light or something, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So you hook it up at the back, and of course you can't see if it's working or not. So a buzzer's really handy.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true, especially when you're alone.
Yeah. I tell you, on electronics, we had another situation. Really bad weather. I mean, absolutely chucking it down. Middle of the night, in an area, no lights, on a road with no markings. And on the series, you've got a button on the floor to switch between driving lights and main beam.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I hit this thing with my foot. I didn't hit it. I just pressed it.
Yes. Click.
And yeah, it clicked, but it exploded. It just fell to pieces. And because it then, all the wires for the lamps go through there, of course, when this broke, all the lights went out in the middle of nowhere. And that was also a pain in the neck because, you got to get out of the car in the middle of the night. And first of all, you got to find all the bits. And then you got to try and put this thing back together again, which I have to say, Tristan did a great job of. He squashed it all back in again. We got ourselves going. But again, it was a case of having tools with us. Without the tools, we wouldn't have been able to get the sort of the base off the floor to repair it. So, these things always happen at the worst time.
You have to plan for the worst case scenario. Rain, nighttime. Did you have the right tools? I mean, those scenarios, 2 of those scenarios are already challenging. No one wants to drive at night, and especially when the weather is terrible, Because if things did go wrong, you've got to find either shelter or just go, I'm just going to suffer and be a man and just get wet and pneumonia in 3 days while I fix this problem. And you've got to get underneath there in order to do it, because you've got to check where the which wires are for which. So it is a thing. In Africa, you don't want to drive at night. Sometimes you have to. You don't have a choice. You always got a choice, but you need to get somewhere. You've got to, you can't miss a border post or a border crossing at certain times. But no one wants to drive at night, which is why I have big lights on my vehicle. So that if I have to drive at night, I turn those things on and it's like semi-daytime. And I want that. But even with that, I simplified it by having one harness for six lights. I had a guy make it specially for me. So everything and all the relays are all in one place. I can do a fact find from the wiring that goes from there, from the front of the radiator, through around the back, through the relay, and then it goes straight down into the battery box. And you want to be able to know where those things are so that it's easier for you to look at. I mean, I was driving, must have been about 4 months ago. I was driving in I can't remember. I was going to the coast, I think, to wild camp in the dunes, and the DC and the smart pass from CTEC just said, I'm waking up. I'm now going to say, take everything that I'm going to get from this alternator and I'm going to pump it into your battery and the fuse blew. And I was like, now I'm going, I've just had this whole electrical issue like the end of last year, the beginning of this year. Like, flipping, now what? But because of the basic within the wiring and the right gauge of wiring, I'm going, okay, so it can only be in 2 areas. Where are they? Where are the fuses? And it was those big square, those long square ones, it was a 50 amp fuse that they put in there. And when I was checking it, because it was still early days and I had trust issues, I was checking while I'm driving. I got my map. I got my iPad mini. That's my everything and half of it was my map where I'm going. And the other half was just keeping an eye on the charging for the battery. And it went to 66. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this thing, I'm now worried. So I phoned Jason, my mate, and I'm like, from CTEC, super smart guy. And I said, listen, dude, this thing's hit like 66. No, it's fine. It's not fine. It's 66 amps. That's a lot. He goes, yeah, but you've got a 300 amp hour battery. I'm like, yeah, but it's 66 amps. That's a lot of power to put into it. He goes, just trust it. I'm like, dude, I don't trust anything, bro. I'm worried now. And that's actually what went wrong, was I had to change the fuse. I said, what do I put in? Do I put in another 50? Do I put in a 60, a 70, a 80, 90, 100? It said, dude, just put in 100 amp hour. I'm like, bro, where are you going? Put in 100 amp hour, 100 amp fuse in. I'm like, what are you expecting here? He says, just put it in. It'll be fine. Okay. Vehicle's insured. So I put it in and I haven't looked back. I've just left it. And every now and then I keep an eye and I look and it hits like 66, 70 amps. It doesn't stay up there for long, but that's a lot of power,
Indeed.
That's a lot of power. So, understanding these things with the right tools and to make sure, because now you're drawing off the alternator. And I bet you now, like maybe 1% of your listeners actually know where the terminals are, the positive and negative for an alternator. I bet you that only like 1% know where that is. And every vehicle is different. So again, having the right tool to get in there with a multimeter is just such an asset. Such an asset. You're right there.
It's a blessing indeed.
It is. 100% agree with you.
I'll tell you what, we've spoken a lot today. How about you write a list? And this is good for you as well, not just for everybody else. It'll sort out the mess in your bag. Why don't you write a list of all the tools you've got in your bag? And we'll make a note here that you drive a Land Rover Classic Defender. And we can use that as a basis for what a toolkit needs if you're driving a Land Rover. And I'll do the same for an even more classic Land Rover, an old one. And then we'll put up a few lists. Does that sound like an idea?
I agree. It sounds good. I need to go through my toolkit because I actually saw now I've got like 2 10s or 3 size 10 spanners, and I don't need excess. I'll probably cut off. I could probably take off about a good like 1/5 of tools out of this thing. I haven't opened this thing sorry, I have opened it, but I haven't gone through this tool roll in years, and it's a really good time to do it.
Oh, there you go.
So this chat was a good.
And I will do the same.
It was a good reminder.
One of the things which I know some people get or use, which they probably shouldn't use, and that's like pipes on spanners to get more leverage. I mean, the basic
strip.
Yeah, well, strip or break. And there's nothing worse than if you snap the head off of something and you've got to drill it out and you're in the middle of nowhere. But the thing to remember there is that why is a 10 millimeter spanner that long?
Yeah.
And why is a 27 millimeter spanner that long? Well, it's because that's the amount of torque you can apply by hand.
Correct.
And you don't want to be putting more torque, especially when you're doing something up, than you can manually put on there. And this is sort of under the circumstance that you haven't got a torque wrench with you.
Yeah.
But don't think it's a good idea to stick a whopping great big pipe on a spanner just to tighten stuff up. Don't do that.
Best way to strip. Best way to strip something. 100% agree with you. Yeah, very cool. Mark, this was legendary, as always. I loved it.
Great talk. Great talk. Next talk we're going to have, whenever it is, we're going to talk about kitchens. Yes.
I've got a tool. I've got a cooking tool that I'll bring.
Okay. You're not allowed to make any teasers here. We'll do that separately. All right?
Because it's the most romantic kitchen tool you could ever have.
Okay, shut up. Enough.
Enjoy your weekend, Mike. Thank you.
You too. Have a good one and go get your tools sorted out.
It's right here at my desk, and it's going to be pouring with rain, so I'm not going to be outside much. I'm going to be by the fire sorting it out while I quietly put the tool roll in the washing machine before my wife comes home. Don't tell my wife.
All right, then. You take care, eh? Bye-bye.
Cheers, eh? Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the At Overland Europe podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and download our app for more adventures and exclusive content. Remember, you can find our guest social media and websites linked in the description below. Until next time, safe travels.